Is the end of Destiny near? Before, I'd say, nah, man. It's fine. Let's not overreact. This time, I think it's time to overreact because the future of Destiny is looking real unfamiliar right now. In today's video, we talk about layoffs, what went wrong, cancellations, future content, and what Bungie does going forward. On July 31st, the Destiny community was shaken once again. We all logged in on Twitter just to discover that Bungie had massive layoffs yet again. Bungie then dropped a tweet linking us to Bungie.net to get a more in-depth look into what's going on. It was titled, "The New Path for Bungie." We discovered that there were approximately 220 roles that were eliminated, which translates to about 17% of the company. On top of that, another 155 roles, which is about 12%, are going to SIE, which is Sony Interactive Entertainment, to work on other projects. So total, that's 375 jobs being taken from Bungie. We would later find out that Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy were also leaving amongst that group. And this is where everything gets crazy. Once I saw that they were leaving, that's when shit got real. These two were there from the beginning and who many consider the heart and soul of Bungie. There was one name though that still remained. That name is Pete Parsons. I made a video about Pete Parsons 8 months ago when Bungie laid off around 100 employees. I stated back then that this was all Bungie and that Pete Parsons was to blame.
And I'd have done it too, if you kids hadn't come along. And I'd have found it if it wasn't for you snoopers.
You blasted kids. Why didn't you mind your own business?
And I would have made millions if it hadn't been for you meddling kids.
Seemed like old Pete wasn't done yet and decided to shake up the community again and then went and hid like the little bitch that he is. Pete didn't want to suffer the wrath of vigorous hate tweets, so he privated his account for a little bit. He then ran to his garage to look at his new collection of cars, where he spent $1.4 million on 17 cars, trying to decide which ones he could use to give kids a ride in.
Brother,
Look, I feel for everyone who lost their jobs because I've been there. I hope they bounce back on their feet and find some other jobs that value their time more than Bungie did. I gotta keep it real though. For the last couple of months, my game has been plagued with issues just like this. Yeah, you know.
Oh no, I forgot I don't know how to sword equip. Oh, there's so much orange.
Cool! Cool! All I see is my sword on my screen. It's glitched me.
Wait, you're in first person with a sword? Is
yes!
That what it did?
All I see is my sword waving in front of me. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, I turned this off. Please don't call me back to play this game today, Patrick.
Yeah, let's see if it's corrected itself. Yeah, nah, my sword stopped working.
This motherfucker shut down.
I have seen some shit in my day. Now I'm shooting a gun in first person. I'm done. Yeah. I have no gun on my screen, just a reticle. Yep.
Yo.
Dead ass.
Look, man. Bungie has gone to great lengths to make this game miserable, haven't they?
So while overall I feel bad for him, a small piece of me was just like, you know. And I know that sounds mean. I get it. But I don't want them to be fired, especially in the way that they were let go. I think it sucks. Again, I sympathize with anybody who gets laid off a job, especially a job that they actually enjoy, because who wants to get laid off a job that's something that you enjoy doing every day? So that sucks. So I didn't want them to get fired. All I wanted was just the game to be fixed.
Come on now, dog.
So what went wrong? According to Pete, they were setting up several other projects on top of Destiny and Marathon. Pete basically states that they were too ambitious and spread the company too thin, and they did it too fast. Pete states that it also forced Bungie support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our two primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. In a nutshell, Pete signed off on something he pretty much already knew Bungie wouldn't be able to sustain. On top of that, Lightfall was poorly received. It had a massive player base drop-off, and Final Shape pre-orders were really low because of it. Even though the Final Shape was a massive success in terms of reviews, it actually sold less than Lightfall did, and it suffered a massive player drop-off after launch. Even a bigger drop-off than Lightfall did. So, this forced Sony to make a decision, and here we are today with these huge layoffs. Let's get this clear. This is not Sony's fault. It's Bungie's fault. That falls directly on Pete Parsons. When Bungie left Microsoft, Microsoft got the blame, when in reality, it was Bungie. When Bungie left Activision, we cheered for their independence, blaming Activision, when yet again, it was Bungie. I even made a video way back then when the Activision split happened, with my own doubts about them leaving Activision, and I wasn't sold on Bungie. I know we were all happy, but at the same time, I was kind of just like, I'm not ready to just blame Activision for this completely. And as we come sooner or later to find out, I was right. Well, today, there's more layoffs, and Sony is having to clean everything up since they spent $3.6 billion buying Bungie. The problem has always been Bungie. When we would say, what's the one thing that could dethrone Destiny? It was Bungie. So, what now? There was a project called Payback, which was rumored to be a Destiny spinoff, but that got canceled. We thought maybe they were working on Destiny 3, but we also found out that that wasn't even in development. We then found out that going forward, Destiny is pretty much being put on hold. So we won't get any more expansions, and instead, we'll get content drops codenamed Frontiers. Bungie is stating that these will have new destinations, dungeons, raids, and campaigns on a much smaller scale, more than likely being the size of around Shadowkeep. Now the goal is to make more replayable activities like the Coil. Now this all sounds great, but in light of what's going on, call me crazy, I kind of just don't believe him at this point. So take this with a grain of salt. This isn't directly coming from a Bungie announcement, but from people within, this is what's being said that these content drops will be. And people keep asking for a reset. It's not happening. The majority of their focus is going to be spent on Marathon, and honestly, I'm not sure how that's going to go. Marathon is an extraction shooter, and I personally don't think that genre is popular enough to sustain a company like Bungie. So it seems weird that they're putting their all their faith in the Marathon. How that's going to go, we don't know. Only time will tell. I just don't see it panning out too well. So what does that mean for me? Well, I already said Final Shape was the last DLC for me. Apparently, it's the last DLC for all of us. So I'm going to finish these last 2 episodes, and that'll be it for me. It's very unfortunate what's going on, and I hate seeing one of my all-time favorite games go down this way due to the bad decisions of a douchebag. If you're a diehard Destiny fan though, I encourage all of you to venture out and play some other looter shooters. I can't recommend my favorite game over the past year enough, and that's Remnant 2. It's an amazing looter shooter with amazing boss fights, great grinding, awesome secrets, and it just feels incredible. I can't recommend that game enough. It is one, like I said, it's been my favorite game for about the past year now, and I highly recommend you play it. I have a bunch of Remnant 2 videos up on the channel, so you should definitely check those out, just to kind of get a feel for it and see if you like it. But right now, it's on Game Pass, and also you can get it on, I think, PlayStation Plus, I believe. So it's a great time to get into Remnant 2. A great time. There's also The Division 2. There's also First Descendant as well, which is popping off pretty hard right now. You can't go wrong with Warframe. You know, there's some other looter shooters as well, but those are the main ones that I'd recommend. But the one I'm recommending more than anything is definitely Remnant 2. I think it'll scratch that Destiny itch for you. I know it feels like the end of an era, and it's an era that I will never forget. It sucks that it's ending this way. This is a 10-year journey we've had, and I was hoping that it would end in the way of just being, you know, high hopes and everybody just being happy, which the DLC for me did end that way. But when they introduced these episodes, the episode so far has been incredibly lackluster. It's kind of boring, and I'm hoping the next 2 episodes aren't like that. But yeah, man, only thing I can do is play these last 2 episodes, hope they're great, and then after that, well, I'm out. Like, there's nothing else. Destiny's done. Others may continue with the smaller content drops, but at the same time, kind of just don't really care. So I'm just hoping these episodes are really good and everybody can enjoy what we have left, because I'm gonna go ahead and just say it, man. This game's pretty much done. This game's pretty much done. They're gonna put 100% focus in the marathon, and Destiny is just gonna be just what it is. So temper your expectations. Do what you got to do. If you need to move on and play some other ones, I highly recommend doing that. But just don't rely on Destiny like going anywhere past what it is now, because this is not. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that comment section and tell me how you feel about everything, and let me know if Pete Parsons offered you a ride in one of his cars too. With that being said, I'm out.